Hello and welcome to the LGBTQ Real Estate Podcast, connecting LGBTQ homebuyers, sellers, and real estate pros since 2007. My name is Jeff Berger. I'm the host of the show, and with us today, we have an amazing guest all the way from Austin, Texas, Kenny Young. He's a realtor. Kenny, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jeff, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, an absolute pleasure. And we were just talking about the weather a little bit. We're freezing here in Florida. Kenny's freezing in Austin. We're just glad we're having a nice mild winter, I would say.
Absolutely.
So here we are. We've got 15 minutes. We keep it brief. We know everybody's super busy. Let's jump into the first question. Kenny, share with us a little bit about yourself, both personally and professionally.
So kind of a mix of both of those things. I came here to Austin in 2010 from Middle Tennessee, which is where I grew up, and initially started in real estate back in 2001, just south of Nashville. And so after doing real estate there for about 8 or 9 years, I moved over to working with Dell Computers. And so kind of got into that tech industry world for a few years. And that's what actually got me here to Austin in 2010, as I came to work with Dell Computers in the Round Rock office, which is their headquarters. And so when I came here, it was something I thought, I'd be here 1 to 2 years max, but fell in love with Austin, and now can't really see myself being anywhere else. And after doing that little stint in the tech world for a few years, I was really missing real estate. And so 2015 got my license in Texas, and kind of came back into it from the angle of being a trainer and instructor. I kind of picked up a love for that in the tech industry of becoming a trainer, a sales trainer for a few different companies. And I worked at the Austin Board of Realtors in 2000, I think 15 or 16 for a few years. And then just really wanted to get back out there in the field, because I was working with so many agents and talking about all the things we do every day. And it just made me miss doing, all the actual work out in the field, working with people on a day-to-day basis. And so that's what really got me back into it here in Texas. And again, just can't imagine being anywhere else after being here now for 14 years.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. Austin is an amazing place. I've been there myself to visit, kind of as a tourist. You have those tourist eyes, but I loved what I saw. The hills, the culture, the people are pretty nice. The restaurants are good. There's a lot to do in Austin. And as you know, so many tech companies are moving there, and it's fabulous for real estate.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity here. And that's one of the things that makes the area so great, though, is that we have so many different people coming here for different reasons, whether it is for the tech industry, or now we're having a lot of people that come in for South by Southwest, which is starting to help grow even like the filming industry here. So there's a little bit of something for everybody here.
For sure. And, what's nice about this podcast is, someone that's found this on YouTube, they may have Googled, for example, for an LGBTQ realtor in Austin, Texas. They now know you, and they could learn a little bit more about you and Austin. And if they're looking to relocate, or, even they live there now, they're looking for a realtor to sell their home and maybe move across town, maybe downsize into a condo, they can work with you. And, this is great because they could hear more from an insider's point of view, meaning, a local.
Absolutely.
So with that said, I know you have, from our conversations and working together, I know you have a lot of LGBTQ clients. What is it about the LGBTQ community that you enjoy working with them so much?
What is that old saying where they say, like, people like working with people they like? And I think that's a two-way street. I mentioned I started off my real estate career in Middle Tennessee, and by no means do I want to talk bad about a different area, but I feel so much more welcomed here in the Austin area. And when I first started in real estate in Tennessee, I had several instances of working with someone and being, kind of weeks into working with them before they would find out that I am a gay male. And then that made them not want to work with me. I literally had a few of them tell me that directly And then there were some
Yeah.
cases where I didn't know for sure if that was the reasoning, but it felt like it. And so I don't deal with that. One, I don't really deal with that here in the Austin area, but two, that's why I really love working with the LGBTQ community, because I already know that at least on that standpoint, they are comfortable working with me and they want to work with me. That's not going to be a deterrent, for them to work with me. So that's one of the biggest things, and just being able to be that person to help someone else in the LGBTQ community to feel, safe and comfortable in that environment too. Like I said, it's a two-way street. So that's what I really love about it.
That's great. And I love that phrase. I like working with people I like. So simple, but so true.
Yeah,
That's great. That's great. Sometimes it's those simple things that really, click and make so much sense and keep it simple. So that's a good
absolutely.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really big for quotes and things like that. That sometimes they're cheesy, but I love them.
No, they're great. It's important to communicate and keep things simple. So yeah, I'm admiring what you said. Yeah, I agree with you. I love them as well. Um, yeah, so you seem very passionate about Austin. Okay. Next question, share with us why you love living in your community. Of course, you told us, that it's, open and kind and, things of that sort to the LGBTQ community. But what are your favorite parts of the town? I know there's so many areas, the hill country just has so many hills and valleys and little neighborhoods and things. What are your favorite parts of Austin, for example, that you may want to share with the viewer, including the arts, maybe dining, coffee shops, wine bars, the job market, whether it's barbecue? I mean, there's just so much there, right?
There's a ton. And what you had mentioned about visiting here before and kind of seeing it through a tourist eyes. There's a lot of times that I still feel that way because there's so much to do, and it's just so hard to do it all. So
Yes.
I love when I have friends or family come in to visit and they want to go see certain things. There are some weekends that if my husband and I both have time and we don't have work going on, that we can easily find something to go do. That could be something totally new to us. We have festivals almost weekly for something different. We're really lucky where we live. There's a park next door, and
Mm.
there was an Asian food festival there a couple of months ago that we were able to just walk next door to, and that was amazing. So, the food scene is something that's really big here for a lot of people. And then, talking about the number of days of sunshine that we have here in Austin, I think it's something around like 300 days a year on average. And so,
Well,
there's so much that you can do outdoors. And of course, the summers are very hot. So sometimes you want to avoid that. But, the rest of the year, though, right now in January, we're going to have temperatures at some point that are in the 70s still, even though it's January. We have like that odd week or two where we have, quote unquote, our winter here, but it doesn't last very long. But yeah, we have that, the food scene. There is a lot to do with the arts here. We have South by Southwest, which draws in a ton of people every year.
mhm.
Music, you can't talk about Austin without thinking about music, since we are the live music capital of the world. And so just about
Yeah.
any just about anywhere you go, even just for dinner or something like that, you can catch a show somewhere and hear a really great local band playing. So there are tons of things to do here, and even on just the LGBTQ side of things, I've played in a softball league, a volleyball league, basketball. Currently I'm in the Pride Bowling League. And so, of course there's something for everybody, but even just in our community, there are a ton of things to do here, to be able to get out and meet people or participate in some type of sport or activity that you really, already love to do. So there's just never, if you're bored in Austin, you're not looking, for anything for sure.
Yeah, well, that sounds great. Yeah, and it is so important those clubs that do exist for the LGBTQ community, whether it's bowling, whether it's softball. Those are real nice because they're very um, organic. It's a good organic way to meet people. Whether it's playing sports or going out bowling and sharing a beer or soda. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you drink or not. I was just using that as an example.
Right.
And yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I have some friends that play on a bowling league, a gay bowling league, and they love it. They're like so like fanatical about it, and I'm just like a bowler once in a while, but I love that they love it. So,
Yeah.
you must be passionate about it also. And it's a good way to just chill and, meet up with the guys, right?
It's so much fun, and there's so many people that we actually take up 20 lanes in the bowling alley that we're in. So each team has 4 people on it. So there's a good group of people there each week. And, being able to meet each week, you're bowling a different team. So you're getting a chance to
Hmm.
interact with new people each time. And it's always a fun time.
Well, it sounds like fun. And while this isn't real estate related, once you plop down in your house, you're living, so you got to get out and, enjoy the culture. And so thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So talking about real estate, not necessarily like what's for sale now, because we want this video to transcend time, but tell us about the diverse housing stock that you work with in your community. I imagine there's, of course, single family, there's condos, there's townhouses. I know there's a lot of cranes in the city now, a lot of high rise are being built. What do you work with? I guess a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Yeah. I will say I tend to have clients who are, a lot in the suburbs.
Hmm.
Affordability is a big issue with Austin, and so a lot of us want to live downtown or be really close, to that area. But over the years, the affordability has become an issue. But we have all these suburbs, around Austin that kind of gives a different taste of everything depending on where you want to be. And you kind of touched on that earlier of, kind of the landscape of Austin. We have like the hill country and we
Hmm.
have the lake. And so, if you're I've had some clients coming from California and they're like, I'm really going to miss the beach. And so they want to be somewhere where they at least can be close to water. So, they may want to be out in Lakeway or somewhere like that to be out close to the lake. And then I have, clients who have moved here, relocated from like Chicago, and they want to keep a little bit of more of that urban feel and be close to downtown and be in one of those high rises. So yeah, we have a little bit of a really big diverse amount of housing here, depending on what you're looking for and kind of what the vibe is that you're looking for as well.
Yes. So you can help anyone with anything, whatever they're looking for, whether it's single family, townhouse, condo. That's good to know. Great, great,
Yeah.
great. So let's move to our next question, which is so appropriate for this podcast. What should LGBTQ individuals and families who are considering moving to Austin know about it? Just in general.
For me, it was eye-opening moving from Middle Tennessee to Austin, and not to make it into like a political thing, but it's pretty well known that both states are more conservative states, red states, but Austin is always referred to as a blue dot in a red sea, and
Hmm.
that is for many reasons. Yes, it's more of a liberal town, but it's also just much more diverse. I don't think it's necessarily very representative of the entire state, so to speak. And so I didn't know what to expect when I came here to Austin. So it was amazing for me to come to an area where, I am much more accepted. And it's not something that I worry about being out, walking down the street, possibly holding my husband's hand or something like that, and feeling that immediate threat from where I came from. So I feel like Austin is a much more welcoming place. What I mentioned with the suburbs a few years ago, I'll share this story with you. I moved to a little town, a suburb called Maynard, Texas. And initially, I had a couple of people say to me, literally say, "Ooh, Maynard, Texas." And one person in particular told me, "There are going to be no other gay people out there. You're going to be alone out there." And at the time, though, this was several years ago, and I bought this house for under $200,000, which is absolutely hard to find now. You can't really find that around here, and it was a great deal then as well.
Hmm.
So my husband and I moved to this neighborhood, and not really knowing what to expect. It's still only 15 minutes outside of Austin, but we're not
Great.
in Austin proper any longer. But when we get there, the Facebook page for the neighborhood, someone shared on there that there was a pride group, and we went and found that page and joined that page. And just in our subdivision alone, I think there were like 12 or 13 other couples that were
Wow.
part of the community, and they had little get-togethers and things like that. And we moved from that little city, Maynard, Texas, up to Round Rock. And again, like that was a little even further away from Austin. But we moved into another amazing community that had, again, a pride page that was part of the local community, and there were even more people there. Uh,
Very nice.
we used to do pool parties. They would have night or game nights, things like that. And so, really where I'm going with this is that even when you're moving to Austin, all of these suburbs, I feel like there's so many of us. We don't have like a proper, what people might refer to as a neighborhood or something like that,
Hmm.
but I feel very welcomed and accepted in all the areas in and around Austin in this area. So that's something that I would want people to know is that I think you can come here and you can focus on things like, is there a job I want to be close to? Is there a school that I need to be close to for my kids or something like that? Like we can focus on those things or just whatever, vibe you're looking for. We don't have to worry about necessarily, is there some type of bad area for us just because we're part of the community?
Yes, yes. Well, that's really important. I mean, that is just like really like if you were saying like what's the if you were saying rate out of 1 to 10, what's the most important? I would say you really just nailed it because that's really important for people that are relocating and to hear it from you, and you can show them neighborhoods that you've experienced this personally. The good vibes and the happiness of life, and I think that's fantastic, and that's a great message that we have for the viewers. Great. So here we are. We're at our last question. We've talked a lot about real estate. We've talked about Austin. And I guess this may have a little bit to do with Austin. When you're not helping people buy and sell homes, what do you like to do in your free time?
Oh man, I definitely have to go back to bowling again because it's something
Yes,
I've done.
yes.
Yeah, I've been bowling
Great.
since I was 9 years old, so that's a really big hobby of mine. And this past year,
Awesome.
I was able to get my husband more into it. He got his first bowling ball and bought him shoes at Christmas time, so he's getting
Very
more into
cool.
it. And another really big thing for us is not necessarily just we're not like movie buffs. We're just really into going to the movies.
Hmm.
We have Alamo Draft House here, which is really popular. It's one of those places where they have the big, comfy recliners and a little button where you can order your food. So
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
you can make an amazing date night out of just going to the movies and having your food and drinks there and seeing a good movie. So those are
Yeah.
two of the biggest things. And like I mentioned too, just so many things outdoors. We like to go hiking and try to do as much as we can outdoors, especially taking time to get outside when we have weather that's nice. So which is easy to do in Austin.
Great. And I understand around the lake there's some great trails to walk on.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of hiking trails around here too. But
Hmm.
down there around the lake, you'll see a ton of people out taking advantage of that. Zilker Park. There's even though that's right there downtown, there's a lot of nice open space where you see
Hmm.
people out, having picnics or have their dogs out there, things like that. Austin is a super super dog friendly city. I love that there's so many places where we literally can take our dogs with us in to go shopping in different places. So very,
Yeah.
very popular place for our, accepting of dogs.
Very nice. That's great. That's great. Yeah. Well, this has been great. I think it's been very eye-opening for the viewer. They get to know you, they get to know a little bit about Austin. Thank you so much for being in the show, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Jeff. It was great.
Oh, a pleasure. And one last thing, of course, you have Kenny's information, including his website, kennyinthecity.com, his email, kenny@kennyinthecity.com. Inclusive will also include your phone number within the YouTube video.
Awesome.
Great. Okay, well, thank you again.
Thank you, Jeff.
A pleasure. Bye bye.